Alrighty, next game up here. Here we go. It's the Bengals at the Bears, and another quarterback goes down, and this time it's Andy Dalton. Womp, womp. So Matt Nagy has to go with Justin Fields, and Justin Fields doesn't look the best out there. I mean, let's start here with the Bears. So Andy Dalton, he goes 9 of 11, but it's only for 56 yards, folks. This is what we're talking about. Andy Dalton dinking, donking, not doing anything in this game. He did have a passing touchdown. Congratulations. You go to Allen Robinson. I mean, obviously that's who you should be targeting for 11 yards for a touchdown, but it's just like, okay. I mean, they had great field position on this first drive anyway. They start at, hey. Where do they start at? They started at their own 25-yard line. Hang on. Does that make sense? 25-yard line? Is that right? Oh, they had a 32-yard penalty. That's why. Okay. But they had a 32-yard penalty. What do we get here? Obviously, pass interference. Yeah, defensive pass interference. Is that on Eli Apple? Damn you, Eli Apple. It is on Eli Apple. Look at this, man. Damn it. Always a solid, serviceable corner in this league. But man, oh, man. Some of the penalties that man gives up. Unfortunate. Yeah, the Bears go down on their first drive. They score a touchdown. Congratulations. But it's like, once again, Andy Dalton only throwing 56 yards. Is that impressive to us on 9 throws? I mean, that's 5 yards of completion. That's dink and dunk, folks. He had 81% completion percentage, which is good. But still, at the same time, it's not a lot of throws and it's not a lot of yards. So Andy Dalton being classic Andy Dalton, but he does go down. And then Justin Fields gets into the game, and he doesn't look great. I mean, he's kind of floundered, and they're lucky that they had to face the Bengals, or they probably would have lost this game. But Justin Fields goes 6 of 13 for 6 yards, no touchdown, and interception. Not great. He also fumbled the ball, didn't lose it, but still fumbled the ball. Never great. Let's see what happened on this interception. It was a pick 6, so that's definitely not great. Or no, this is Joe Burrow throwing pick 6s. And then he threw another interception and then another interception. I mean, it's really, woof. But then Justin Fields throws an interception with about 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game. The Bengals go down and score, make it a 3-point game, and then that is the end of it. But Justin Fields, we'll see who's going to start week 3 next week. Andy Dalton is not looking anything major here. We get this. So here we go from Ian Rappaport. More on Bears quarterback Andy Dalton. The initial exams did show no ACL tear and no damage to the MCL, source said. MRI today, but the early diagnosis of bone bruise would show he dodged major injury. That would be good news considering what it looked like at first glance. So we are still not knowing the full extent here of Andy Dalton's injury, but it doesn't seem anything structural. So wouldn't be out for a huge period of time. Maybe misses a week, maybe even doesn't. So we'll keep an eye on that. And, after the showing, does this give Matt Nagy confidence in rolling with Justin Fields? Or does this kind of, move, and kind of delay the plan? Remember Matt Nagy's plan with Justin Fields? They have a plan in place. Does this speed up the plan, or does this kind of delay the plan, given his kind of little bit of a lackluster performance, a flounder performance out here? So the Bears squeak out the win 20-17. Andy Dalton revenge game doesn't kind of be able to get completed in this game because of the injury, and the Bears squeak away with a 3-point win. But this is a real bad look here for Joe Burrow. But before we get to that, let's finish off this Bears team stats quickly. Here we go. David Montgomery, 20 carries for 61 yards. That's real solid. Justin Fields has 10 carries for 31 yards himself. Andy Dalton was like, well, I know Justin Fields about to be running, so let me get my runs in, but still can't outrun Justin Fields. 2 rushes for Andy Dalton for 25 yards. And let's see who the Bears quarterbacks were going to, Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. Leading receiver, Darnell Mooney, 6 receptions for 64 yards. Allen Robinson, 2 receptions for 24 yards in that touchdown. David Montgomery, 3 receptions for 18 yards. So overall, I mean, the passing attack here is nothing great, like we say. I mean, this Bears team doesn't have great wide receivers, and now you're, doing a quarterback carousel right here in the narrative that we know Justin Fields is going to play, but he's not starting yet. So all that is truly taking a toll. control. The Bears are going to have to get it figured out and solidified here going forward. I don't think you can go back to Andy Dalton after the injury and then go back to Justin Fields like 2 or 3 weeks later when you feel like he's come to fruition on the plan to playing him. So it's going to be an interesting decision what decision Matt Nagy makes at quarterback, but we know he's been making the wrong decision for the last 4 years, so we don't expect him to make the right one come this week. So Bears to get a 3-point win, but that's not a really kind of confidence building win, I would say. Alrighty, now let's talk about Joe Burrow, because it truly felt like he threw away this game. He single-handedly kind of gave away this game. So Joe Burrow goes 19 of 30 passing the ball, which is 63%, is on the lower end of what we like. 207 yards, which is not terrible. He had 2 passing touchdowns, great, but 3 interceptions. You cannot do that to Joe Burrow, especially back to back. I mean, that's 3 straight possessions of your defense kind of having to go out there quickly, of the Bears offense being able to kind of get into a nice rhythm. After the first interception drive, they're like, okay, yeah, we're feeling good. And, after the second one, they're like, okay, now we're feeling good off of the first one still, coming out in the second one, the second interception drive. And then the third one, they're like, damn, we're already warmed up. It's like, woof, we're good to go. Everything's flowing here. So let's see where these 3 interceptions came back to back. So the first one was a pick 6 when they were only down 10-3. They had a chance to potentially tie up the game on this drive. They're at the Bears' 48-yard line, and he throws a pick 6. Now they're down 17-13. Then he throws another interception. And luckily for the Bengals, the Bears have to punt. They go 3 and out. Justin Fields wasn't able to do anything with that ball, unfortunately. And then Joe Burrow gets the ball back, and he throws another interception. And this time, the Bears do score and capitalize on it, making it 20-3, basically kind of closing out the game, making it 2 scores. And then the Bengals, they go down and score a touchdown. Or it was a 3-score game going up 20-3. Then the Bengals score another touchdown, making it 20-10, and potentially coming back here because Justin Fields throws another interception, and the Bengals come and make it 20-17. But at that point, it is too late. The Bears just run out the time for the rest of the game. So decently competitive game until Joe Burrow started throwing all these interceptions. We also have a fumble as well. Who fumbled the ball? T. Higgins. Oof, unfortunately, he fumbled the ball in the third quarter, which led to 3 more points there by the Bears. So the Bengals gave up 13 points. They gave up 13 points on turnovers, and they only lose by 3. So the Bengals, we believe they are a good team. We believe this is like a serviceable team, but when you're throwing 3 interceptions and fumbling and giving up 17 points on turnovers, you're never going to win that game. So just unfortunate there by the Bengals. We need Joe Burrow to clean it up, truly. All right, Joe Mixon was their only rusher from yesterday. 20 carries for 69 yards, real solid. Let's see who Joe Burrow was throwing to. Tyler Boyd, 7 receptions for 73 yards. T. Higgins, 6 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown. He did fumble as well. Jamar Chase, 2 receptions for 54 yards, and he scored a touchdown. Well done. Jamar Chase is still getting it going. He had 4 targets, 2 receptions. I think we'll take a little bit of a quick look at Jamar Chase on Wednesday's film study to see if these incompletions that he had, both of them were on Joe Burrow or himself. We'll keep an eye on it, but 2 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown. Jamar Chase is still getting it done here in the regular season. Give that man credit. So Bengals just truly floundered in this game. Justin Fields didn't look that great. We'll see what happens week 3 for both these teams, and we'll see what quarterback they're going to rock with.